I'm pregnant.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
Now! Hands up now!
Get your hands up!
In North Carolina, a reported home invasion quickly escalated. A man dressed entirely in black was holding a pregnant woman hostage, a gun pressed to her head. We can't let him get away. We can't let him take her.
I got a white man on a white Malibu.
Put the knife down. Station 3, 14-way exit at back. Subject armed with a knife. Put the knife down.
Sheriff's office, come outside!
Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, home to the city of Charlotte. Someone called police about a neighbor's house. A baby could be heard crying inside. We didn't want to ignore this. When officers arrived, Officer Lewis and his partner approached the front door. An armed man wearing a mask stepped outside. Officers immediately requested backup over the radio. Joseph Bauer and his partner were working as a 2-officer unit that night when they received the home invasion call. The only information they had was that a man might be armed. They didn't know if he lived there or who else was inside.
Their body cameras automatically activated when they turned on their lights and sirens. They arrived as the 3rd and 4th officers on scene.
Where are you?
Seeing flashlights behind the house, they knew other officers were already in position. Police wanted control of every possible entry and exit. They needed to contain the house at 1912.
Headquarters, we're at 1912. We need this house locked down.
One officer took cover behind a large tree, positioning himself at an angle rather than directly in front of the front door.
Hey, get some cover,
Standard
man.
tactics, since you never want to stand square to a doorway where shots could come through. Officers issued commands. You're surrounded. Come out. Let's end this peacefully.
Hey, back off, back off. We need coverage.
From the rear position, one officer could see the back door and a rear bedroom window with the lights on. A million scenarios ran through his mind. His biggest fear was that the suspect could start shooting at officers or at people inside the house. He hoped the man would come out with his hands up, unarmed, so they could clear the home and make sure everyone was safe. The tension increased. The officer heard a woman screaming, "Help me! Help me!" He also heard the suspect yelling, "Back up!" The officer then saw a man dressed in black holding a pregnant woman hostage. The suspect had his arm locked around her neck and a gun pressed to her head. He raised his weapon. In his mind, I need to shoot. This is a deadly threat. The situation is out of control. His finger went to the trigger, but doubts immediately followed. If I hit him in the shoulder, there's something called an involuntary muscle reaction. If he flinches from the pain, he could squeeze the trigger. If I miss, he could fire back. Worst case, I hit her. This is a moving target, and this would be a one-handed shot because I'm holding my flashlight in the other hand.
He took his finger off the trigger. He wasn't going to take that shot yet.
Drop the gun! Stop the gun now! Stop the gun now!
He continued trying to reposition for a better tactical advantage. He remained in the backyard while watching officers move in the front. Something was clearly wrong. He could see the suspect still holding the gun to the woman's head. "We have body armor and weapons. She doesn't. We can't let him escape. We can't let him take her."
Drop that gun! Drop the gun!
The suspect continued moving into the backyard of the neighboring property. He never stopped. One officer attempted to move around the house and suddenly came face to face with the suspect, immediately backing up to find cover. He thought, if he's going to shoot, he's going to shoot me right now.
Get cover! Get cover!
This was the worst case scenario unfolding in real time.
Drop the gun! Back up!
The officer still didn't feel comfortable taking the shot. The suspect never stood still, and he couldn't put the woman at even greater risk. Officers began spreading out to avoid overlapping lines of fire. Beyond the neighboring backyard was a wooded area filled with dense trees. The biggest concern was that the suspect would drag the woman into the woods and begin firing from the tree line.
This is not gonna end well! Drop that gun!
When is lethal force justified? He needed to be sure there were no innocent people in the background, including fellow officers. The pregnant woman was begging for help, being taken against her will. She screamed, "I'm pregnant!"
I'm pregnant.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Drop it! Drop it now! Drop it! Let me see your hand!
In the backyard was a large fallen tree. As the suspect tried to step over it, it created separation between him and the victim for the first time. The officer shouted, "Get away! Get away! Get away!" It was all he could say, trying to communicate to the victim to drop, roll away, or get to the ground. The officer made the decision to fire. The suspect went down behind the fallen tree, and for a moment, he couldn't see anyone. "Get down!" The suspect's gun fell near the officer's feet. "I've got the gun." At that point, officers immediately transitioned to providing medical aid. All right, I've got you. You're okay. You weren't shot in the head. The suspect had been struck at least 4 or 5 times. Whatever had just happened, he was no longer a threat to anyone. Now, he was someone who needed help. That's how officers are trained to view it.
All right.
Stay with me, man. Stay with me.
Hey.
The pregnant victim was not injured. Jonathan Autry was charged with armed robbery with a dangerous weapon, first-degree kidnapping, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and first-degree burglary. He was convicted on all counts and sentenced to a minimum of 32 years in prison. I wish he had just come out and surrendered from the start, and we could have completed the investigation without anyone being shot. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department later awarded the officer the Medal of Valor for his actions that night. It was, in fact, the final call for service he would ever respond to. He had already decided, for his family, to leave law enforcement. Years of working night shifts had taken their toll, and he chose to focus on his family. But I've still got a lot of brothers in Charlotte.
More than 500 miles west of Charlotte, just east of Dayton, Ohio, sits the suburban town of Riverside. Sunday tradition? Sergeant Chris Bilta's wife cooks lunch for all of his co-workers. She sends him off to work with 2 large pots of food. When he gets home, he does the dishes. When the call came in, he had just finished washing them. The emergency call came from the Kroger parking lot on Spinning Road.
In the black car.
The caller reported a black male in a black vehicle pointing a gun at someone in a white vehicle. Both vehicles just left. Dispatch relayed reports of 2 people pointing guns at each other in the parking lot at 700 Spinning Road. Bilta headed in that direction. 2 people pointing guns at each other was not a typical call, especially on a Sunday afternoon. When he arrived, he made contact with one of the callers in the parking lot. The witness said one of the suspects in the white vehicle had driven across the street to a drive-through called Yum Yum. Bilta spotted the vehicle circling behind the building.
I'm clear. 1548.
His body-worn camera activated when he pressed record. He positioned his patrol car in front of the building to block the exit. The suspect reversed. Bilta activated his emergency lights as the vehicle pulled around the building.
I got a white male.
He turned on his lights and siren. The suspect accelerated at a very high rate of speed. That reckless behavior told Bilta the driver had something to hide, or didn't want police to see something.
Just turned left on the Shell toward Beaverbridge.
The suspect turned into a dead end.
Turn on the dead
Bilta
end.
thought this was where it would end and the driver would bail out on foot. Instead, the suspect cut across a yard and re-entered a residential street.
You got any close? You got any close?
One small mistake
right,
on
back
that
on the
road
Spinning,
would
right
be
back on the Spinning.
unrecoverable. There was nowhere to go. That's when Officer Scotty Reardon arrived to assist. The arrival of backup was a huge relief. When Reardon saw the suspect vehicle, he kept his lights on, stopped, let the suspect pass, and allowed Sergeant Chris to go through so he could fall in behind him. The sergeant could focus on driving and pursuing the suspect. Reardon handled directions and street names. Bilta struck the rear of the suspect's vehicle, not intentionally, but because he was too close and the suspect slammed on the brakes.
Right on. Right on.
Gunfire erupted.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! The suspect fired toward Bilta. In that moment, it didn't feel real. The suspect fired several more rounds.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shoot at police!
Shots fired!
fired!
Shots fired!
Shots
Shots
fired!
fired! Officer Reardon came in like a UFO, sliding perfectly into position alongside them. At that point, they didn't know what the suspect was willing to do. If he was willing to go this far, how much further would he go?
Right on spinning.
Left on airway.
One round struck the front of Bilta's patrol car and ricocheted. Another hit the driver's side headlight. A third round penetrated the front windshield, about 16 inches from Bilta's head, continued through the vehicle, and lodged in the roof. The thoughts running through his head were no longer about the suspect. They were about his family, his wife, his child, his nieces and nephews. He remembered counting the number of shots, hoping the suspect would run out of ammo. But he also knew that if he didn't rely on his training, he wouldn't make it home to his family.
Crashed out. Shots fired, shots fired.
One thought stood out above all others. I don't want this to be the last thing that happens to me, or the last thing my family remembers about me. Officer Reardon's vehicle was to Bilta's right, and Reardon exited his car. Bilta saw him fire.
He saw rounds strike the rear of the suspect's vehicle. After shooting at Bilta, the suspect continued fleeing toward downtown Dayton. At that point, Bilta made the decision to continue the pursuit. He didn't want anyone else to get hurt.
Vehicle's been hit.
You're at Airway, take your left off Woodman, head south.
They broadcast a Signal 99, an urgent request for assistance. It was a call for every available unit in Montgomery County. Bilta hoped more officers would respond, block additional roads, and force the suspect into a position where they could pull him out of the vehicle.
Shot us. I'm not hit. The vehicle's been hit.
Up on 3rd Street.
He shot at us. He shot at us. The suspect's vehicle began falling apart, unable to withstand the abuse. Officers had to stay extremely alert for other vehicles, pedestrians, children, anyone who could suddenly step into the roadway.
Down 3rd.
Bilta believed the suspect was trying to lose them in a residential area so he could ditch the car and run. The suspect turned left onto hedges. Bilta searched for the best vehicle positioning. The suspect was heading uphill. Where could he be trying to go?
Junior is from Fifth Hotel. Right on Baptist, front of
Bilta struck the rear of the suspect's vehicle again, pushing it into a large field and into a tree line on the left side of the road. Watch out! Shots fired! Gun! Gun!
Get your gun, get your gun.
Officers could see the suspect. Stop! Stop! Bilta believed the suspect was concealing a weapon. Hands up! Hands up!
Stop right
The suspect
there!
turned and ran deeper into the trees. He's running into the woods!
Get your hands up! Mother, get your hands up! Show me your hands!
Now they were in the woods, and the suspect was no longer visible.
Show me your hands!
That uncertainty was terrifying. Was he waiting for Bilta to take one more step so he could open fire? I didn't know what he was thinking.
Put your hands in the air! You'll run, you'll run. Going up the other side!
He's going up in the woods.
He smashed into the wooded area. Riverside 211, check up.
He's going back towards Burke Park, Garland. Red shorts, black shirt, white man. Get it today.
On foot.
If you can get it today.
We're on the
White male.
phone then.
Officers from multiple agencies flooded the scene to assist. Red pants, black shirt, white male.
And Garland.
Blue
Red
lights
shorts,
filled
black
the
shirt,
area.
white male.
Police were everywhere.
Get it today. .211, if you can get it to Dayton. Red shorts, black shirt, white male.
Hey, we got it. Hey, we got anybody?
No, not that I know of, dude.
Damn it, man.
You got to jump on us.
Bilta was
Stay behind the
angry.
car.
The suspect had fired at them. He had led them on this chase. And Bilta didn't want him getting away. The suspect emerged into an open area of the woods directly in front of them.
Hands up! Hands up now! Oh God! Officers shouted. 10 different scenarios raced through their minds. Was he going to bolt when they closed the distance?
Hands up! Hands up! Now! Hands up! Hands up!
Riverside 211, getting out to the corner of...
Hands up! Hands up now! Get your hands up now! Hands up!
All officers were yelling commands. Put your hands up! The suspect refused. Then they heard a shot, but not lethal. It was a beanbag round. Fired from a less lethal shotgun, the beanbag struck the suspect and dropped him, allowing officers to safely move in and take him into custody. I'm coming in.
211, less lethal shot. Less lethal.
I'm coming in. Put your hands behind your back.
I'm cuffing him.
Bilta wanted Riverside cuffs on him. He wanted them to take him into custody, no one else. Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
Stop resisting!
The suspect was unarmed, only a holster on his body.
Oh, that's just less lethal.
The driver was identified as Adam Cottrell, a convicted felon on probation. Lying next to the vehicle were 2 handguns. Inside the car, officers found bags of methamphetamine and heroin. Police also recovered $2,490.75 in cash. Cottrell was convicted of 3 counts of felonious assault and possession of fentanyl. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Bilta was awarded the Medal of Valor for risking his life to apprehend the suspect. Bilta keeps a St. Michael coin in his body armor. After the incident, he returned to the same place where he bought his coin and purchased one for Kaglar and Reardon, so they could carry one in their vests as well. It's fair to say the incident brought them closer together. They know that after going through something that serious, they can trust one another. And that means everything. 2 situations. 2 split-second decisions.
The final question: which decision was the hardest? Sheffield in Charlotte. Finger on the trigger. Forced to choose between shooting now, risking the life of the hostage, or waiting, risking losing the only chance. Bilta in Dayton. Rounds coming through the windshield. Forced to choose between continuing the pursuit, risking public safety, or backing off, allowing an armed suspect to escape. In your opinion, which officer faced the tougher dilemma? Comment: Sheffield or Bilta, and explain why. If you enjoy this kind of true crime body cam analysis, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos every week.